Hello there. Welcome to Globe, Arizona. On today's adventure, I wanted to come check out a free public park, the Old Dominion Historic Mine Park. It's supposed to have some really neat relics from the mining past, some historical stuff spread out in kind of a boneyard, as well as some other potential structures and trails to explore. So I thought it was worthy to come check it out. So if you want to find out what it's like, let's go see together. I think it's an old copper mine, if I'm not mistaken. This was the largest copper mine in this area, and it lasted for over 50 years. The people of the town here wanted to preserve the mining history, and that's why this park was created, to preserve that. I think that's amazing. This is free. There's no fee to come in here. It's open sunrise to sunset. You can come and go as you please anytime. So here is a map. You've got multiple hiking trails you can see. Ooh, the slime trail, that sounds awesome. This is one of the things that I've come to see, the mining artifacts over here. This is always a fun thing to see. So I guess as a news reporter for you, looks like they're going to be closing off some of the trails starting on February 29th. So I guess that means when you come to visit, I can't guarantee you that everything's gonna be open, all the trails, but today they are. So now they do have restrooms and drinkable water here, but as the sign at the entry said, this is it. This is the only restroom and water. So if you need either thing, be sure to take care of that before you head on off. And there's a sign here that says Old Dominion Smelter. And here we have, I assume, the remnants of the smelter. Looks like a giant kind of bucket-like thing. I could imagine hot ore pouring into this ladle. I could be totally wrong about that, folks, but that's the vision I have in my head. Probably seen one too many movies. And the remnants of an old building here. I assume part of the area where the smelting occurred. And here's what we're looking at actually, the smelter, flue, and dust chamber with a 200-foot stack, which I assume the stack is no longer here. But look at that. And another view of that smelter and where the stack used to be. I want to give kudos to this town. I mean, this is really educational, interesting, and awesome. So, right on. And this sign here has a picture from 1916 of the payroll office, which I'm assuming would have been right in front of us here. And this sign indicates the general office, and you can actually see old stairs here, as well as an old gate or fence here. Now I'm going to assume this is the foundation for what they dubbed the general office here right in front of me. Some old pipes, I assume. Could be from old plumbing. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of come in here. It looks like there used to be a door right here. Really cool. You can even see the remnant of a pipe here in the wall. And here's an old ore cart. I'm assuming these were actually used here at this mine. Ah, here we go. Here's a sign. Left to right, you got a side dump ore cart. I'm assuming that's this guy here. And here you've got an ore bucket. I assume they put ore in this guy and lifted it up out of the mine. Another style of ore bucket here. Says it was used in incline shafts. Look at that, you can actually still rotate that. It's not as heavy as you think. I mean, it's got some weight to it, don't get me wrong, but this sign talks about slag, which is basically the byproduct of the smelting process. It's iron silicate, so it's waste material, and it's this black stuff that you saw in the parking lot and all over here. So this is all the waste created from smelting copper. Looks like they even have a disc golf course out here at the park. You got your scoring, your pars, all of that here, and a map of where all of the different holes are. That is so cool. I guess this is hole 1, is a par 5, 859 feet. I'm guessing, I've never played disc golf before, so I'm guessing the destination is out there somewhere. So it looks like right here behind me is the boneyard, as they call it here. This is probably one of the main draws, one of the things I was most interested in seeing here today. It's a bunch of equipment, old equipment back from the mining past. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm honestly not sure what all of this stuff is, like this materials platform. I don't really have any information handy to educate myself on that, but pretty cool regardless. I don't know why one of my favorite things always are ore carts, and this is a wooden ore cart. Just look how old that is. So looks like this one was used for hauling dynamite. So I can say this, I did read that they had a boneyard of old equipment here. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't seek out any pictures or videos before coming here. And I would say this actually is more impressive than I actually thought it was going to be. It's actually really cool. Now, the last thing that I really want to try to seek out, and I didn't do research on it, is up on the top of that hill. I think I saw someone up there, and I think I saw trails. I think that's part of the old mining operation up there. So let's go see if we can get up there, get a closer look. There's a trail over here. I don't know if we're not supposed to go this way. There's nothing saying not to. And there's a good view of the boneyard from up above here up on this hill. So they're talking about ventilation in mine shafts. And it shows us standing right here. This is a cross section of the mine, and this is underneath us here. Some of these things go down like 2,000 feet. That is crazy to think that's all below ground, right where I'm standing. So this says basically that the large metal structure here is a fan that sits on top of the shaft. So shaft C, I'm guessing it's going to be this guy here, this shaft. And that's the fan, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm assuming this is fenced off because there's a 2,000 foot tunnel somewhere down here below that. You can walk around it though and get a good look. I don't know if those things open up. You can see like what looks like hatches maybe. Ran into a woman walking her dog just now, and I asked, can we get up there? And she said yes. She said to go back kind of towards the front again, and there's a trail that should take us up there. It looks like the remnants of some kind of building here. And right over here, there's something pretty cool. I have no idea what it is, but I do see a sign. It's a little bridge over here. Okay, so these are called concentrator bins. So this is where ore was deposited after being processed in the concentrator. You can kind of get a view in there. It's a little hard to see. And right here was the old-time water slide where the miners had a little bit of fun. I'm kidding. I don't know what that is. Probably some kind of drainage. It looks like they marked where old buildings used to sit. There used to be a blacksmith shop here. Not even a trace anymore of what was once here. Here's an old photo of some structures that once were here. And we're here. So there's where the blacksmith shop would have been, where I was looking at that sign. All sorts of buildings that would have been here. And there's one other really cool note. There's a fountain that you may notice here at the center of the park in this picture. And it says the concrete piece to my right is believed to be the base of the fountain shown above. And here's an old foundation of the supply house and other rusty bits left around here. You can see the supply house is a pretty lengthy structure. It starts way over there and continues down here. And you can actually see in this picture, here's the supply house in this region of the photo. And another set of stairs up here, and beyond it you can see another cement foundation. There's no sign saying what that was, but clearly there was a building here at some point. I'm gonna wonder if that was the front door. Oh yeah, here's a sign that just says residence. So I wonder if these were just people's houses that lived on the premises here. So you do kind of have to use your imagination a bit. Clearly all that remains of most of these things are just the concrete foundations, but I find that to be so cool. I love that kind of stuff. This is from a 1937 postcard of what this area looked like. All of those structures. Now you remember the supply house, that big concrete, that really lengthy concrete foundation, and the assay office, general office, even the 200-foot stack that we saw in the beginning. This is what the place actually looked like. And this is what it looks like today. You see that big concrete foundation down there? That was the supply house you saw in the picture, kind of in the foreground. Well, unfortunately, going this way, this is gated off and marked as private property. Now I'm starting to wonder, as we saw when we first entered, a lot of the trails are going to be closed starting February 29th. Is it possible that they've sold part of this property, maybe to a new mining operation or something like that, and that's why all this stuff is closed? I honestly don't know. So if you're watching this and you have information about this, let me know. Let me know why some of those things don't seem to be accessible, and let me know why they're closing off some of the trails. Now here's a really nicely formed structure. This was the mine office with a vault in the middle. Maybe they kept bullion or some other kind of valuable metals in the middle, I'm guessing. Now here's another really good view of the vault. And I really wish you could get in there and take a closer look. Now you'll see a lot of signs saying that these structures are off limits because they could be unstable. There's some evidence for you right there. Look, that floor looks like it's completely caved in. That's solid concrete too. This is dubbed the sampling mill. It's kind of hard to see in there with this big grate here. Here's another one. You can see what I'm assuming are some kind of nests. I'm gonna guess birds' nests based on the size of the holes. Not wasp nests, but you never know. And there's a really nice perspective of that mine building. And there's another perspective of, I forget the name of the building already. You know, I have another adventure planned for today. I didn't bring my phone with me. I think I left it in the car, so I don't know exactly what time it is, but it's pretty clear to me that I'm not gonna have time for that. The point being that this place is amazing. This is so fun to explore. This has exceeded all of my expectations today. This is all off limits. You can get a good view, I guess, of that, whatever that is. I'm guessing the mine. Is that a head frame? I believe that might be a head frame. There's a sign here saying conveyor connector trail. and I see footprints of people's dogs, so I'm guessing we can walk this way. So why the heck not? Why stop now, right? Get a good view through the fence here of that structure. You can really hear the hum of that 22,000 volts right there. And there's a little bridge here, a little footbridge, so I am now more confident that I'm not trespassing or doing something bad. Some really old stone walls, or retention wall perhaps. And if you just keep an eye out, you'll see really cool things like that. Those are shovels from an age long past. And then another view of that, what I'm guessing is a head frame. That's what I'm gonna call it for the time being until I see otherwise. So here's what I was looking for, something to confirm. That's that thing that I was calling a head frame, and I'm assuming it is. It says the Old Dominion mine shaft system extends for 3 miles. So yeah, that is the mine shaft where it would be located. All right, the shadows are getting very long. The day is winding to an end. I underestimated how much there was to do and see here, and it was fantastic. A couple pro tips for you. Place is pet friendly. See plenty of people walking their dogs. It's absolutely free. It will not cost you a penny, which is amazing. It's open sunrise to sunset. You can come and go as you please. The biggest tip I'm gonna give you is bring a map of the trails, or at the very least, snap a photo with your phone before you head out of the map they have up by the parking lot, because I didn't do that, and there's lots of nooks and crannies, and I may have missed something really cool because of that. So you'll be really happy if you do that. Other than that, all I gotta say is this place absolutely rocks. And yeah, pun intended. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support the Cactus Atlas, please like, share, and subscribe. It's completely free to do so. Also, look us up on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under the name Cactus Atlas.